Good evening, everyone. This is Thor from Heim's Toy Shop. So tonight I decided I'm going to do something a little different. What I'm going to do is, as you can see, I bought myself a vacuum chamber. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stabilize my own knife scales. I got some self-harvested cherry, a couple pieces of zebra wood here, some olive wood, some other miscellaneous pieces of wood, hardwood that I harvested. All right, first things first, what I need to do is get my resin here and activate it. Put on my safety gloves. So what I'm using is cactus juice. This is not an ad for it, but this stuff is really good for what you need to use it for. All right, with that. Have my activator here. We use the entire bottle of activator. Now, this stuff will stay and keep pretty well as long as it stays, under like 80 degrees. So, get my activator in there. Takes a little bit to empty it. Whole bottle of activator. Make sure that's all in there. Takes a little bit. Sorry, this video is going to be a little bit longer than my normal videos because this is my first time doing it. Figured, why not? Give it a shot. Still a little bit more in there. Make sure I get all of it. Again, sorry this video is going to be a little bit longer. Not quite all of it. Nah. That's about all of it. Okay. So then we close this up. Give this a good shake. Mix all that in. Make sure it's nice and mixed in. All right. Looks like it's all dissolved. Give it a little bit more shake. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up so it's just above the wood here. The thing about this is, after you use it and get your hilt stabilized, you can use whatever's left over and just put it back in the bottle and reuse it. Make sure those are all, and preferably don't splash it on yourself. A little bit more, not quite there. All right, so since it's floating, what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh it down with a piece of metal here. Get them down in there. Might need another piece of metal. Make sure. Give me a second, I'm going to go get another piece of metal. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. As you can see, I'm doing this kind of live, so learning curve. Make sure that's down in there. They just don't want to cooperate, do they? All right. all down in there. Sink that down. Make sure that's nice and decent. Yeah, I'm trying to just make sure everything's in there nicely. All right. They're gonna float no matter what I do. All right, so from there, take this, set it in my chamber here. Try not to spill. All right. Got it in my chamber. Take my top cover. Make sure you center this on your chamber. Plug it in. Bring that up to about -25. Take a moment to get there. Trying to find that sweet spot. Oh, came loose. Whoops. There we go. Bring that up. We're almost there. All right. I'm going to hold that at -25 right there. Going to unplug that. All right. Now, if you come with me, I'll show you real quick. Let me switch this around. As you can see, it's bubbling pretty good. So that's drawing all the air out of the wood. And what that does is, once I release the pressure, it'll suck all the resin back into it so that it now becomes a stabilized piece of wood. All right, well, I'm going to let this sit for about an hour, maybe two, and I'll come back and show you what happens. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's been about an hour that I've had this running. As you can see, we still got some bubbles coming up. Not nearly as much as we had before. I probably could get away with pulling the plug and letting it do what it does, bringing all that resin back in. Or I think I'm going to let it sit for a little bit longer. Make sure those bubbles are not nearly as bad, because if you look over here next to the knife here, we got a lot of bubbles coming up. So I'm going to let that sit for about another hour, and I'll come back and I'll show you what happens. All right, see you in the next segment, and I will talk to you soon. Welcome back, everybody. This is Thor from Helheim's Toy Shop. Alright, so I had to wait a lot longer than anticipated. So it's been about 3 to 4 hours. And we're not really getting any new bubbles. I think that was just from me irritating the chamber. So what I'm going to do from this point on is I'm going to shut off the vacuum, but I'm going to close it off completely over here at my valves, so that, and not open up my release valve, so that it can sit here and just soak overnight. So now that we got that, let's pop this, and we're going to let that sit in the chamber soaking overnight, so that it can absorb all that resin into the actual wood here. And from there, I'll show you guys the next step, but that'll have to be tomorrow, because they say to soak it double the amount of time that you had it sitting in the resin in the vacuum chamber. So I'm going to leave this pressurized and let it slowly bleed off on its own overnight. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to show you guys what stabilized knife scales look like. All right, well, you all have a great evening. This has been Thor from Helheim's Toy Shop. Goodbye.